everyone, welcome to Tutorials by Decade. My name is Decade, and in this video we are going to finish up, at least for now, our branching dialogue. In this video we're actually going to be able to select things with our arrow keys, technically with the mouse, though that doesn't work all that great, and I'll explain that later. Or if you have a joystick hooked up, you can use that to make your selections. But before I get into any of that, if you like any of my other videos, just give this one a thumbs up right now. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, as I have videos like this coming out all the time and I don't want you to miss anything. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go into your canvas and you want to turn on your text bubble and your branching dialog bubble. We are going to need to make some room in order for things to work right. There needs to be a little bit of space for the buttons. Plus it'll allow us to give, ignore my phone. Plus it'll allow us to give some space for more dialogue and everything. You want to add more for your options. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our text bubble and we are going to move it to, we're going to move it up to 265. And then we're going to take our branching dialog bubble here, and we are going to first move that to -221. And then the width is going to stay the same, but the height is going to go to 635. When that's done, we're going to open up all of our options in here. We're going to right click and we're going to make an empty, and we're just going to call this options. And then that options, just so that way everything is nice and clean and uniform, we are going to make the width 1820, height 635, and yeah, that's where we want. Perfect. We're going to take all three of these options here and we're going to drop them in options. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create 3 more empties. We're just going to create one right now. We'll call it button 1. We're going to add a component to it, button component. We're going to add another component, image component. Once that's done, we're going to duplicate this 2 more times. So just Control D, Control D. We'll name this one button 2. Button 3, and actually for clarity we'll name this one option button 1, option button 2, and option button 3. All right. So now that we got those in, what we're going to do is we're going to take our option 1, 2, and 3 text and make them children of the buttons. Just by dragging and dropping like that. And make sure they all line up. And we should be good. All right. Now what we're going to do is, well, we're going to make sure the buttons actually match the width of the options here. So 1720 on the width. And then height, I think we changed that to 113. And button 1, we should do this. Remove the, if you've already done this and you're following along, remove the children and make them separately. We should have moved this stuff first. So, I believe it's at 113. Yep, 113. Button 2 should be at 0 with 1720. And 113. And then button 3, I do believe, is -113, 1720, and 113. Now that you've done that, now you can make your text children of the buttons. And then we go back to this main option thing here. We add a component and make it a vertical layout group. So what this does is this kind of makes it one group, and it makes it a vertical layout, so that way it's up and down. You notice how it kind of shifted weird. Well, we're going to go to child alignment, and we're going to go to middle center, and now we're aligned pretty well. If you don't like that spacing, you can play with the padding and the spacing and all that stuff here. But for simplicity, I'm just going to leave it as is. Once that is done, we can actually hop into, well, we can do a little something here with the buttons. So where it says highlight and selected color, we can change those. So I'm going to change this to 120, 173. I'm going to make that blue, and I'm going to do the same for the selected color. So 120, 173. So what this is going to do is once we get this up and running, whenever the buttons are highlighted, they're actually going to change to that blue color. And then that's great if you want to have like options where like one is good, so you make that blue, the other's bad, make it red, and the other's neutral. You can just keep it the same. I'm just going to make them all the same right now. You can play around with that all you want until you get it the way you want it. Oh, not that one. There we go. And do it for this last one here as well. All right. So now that that's done, we can actually get into, oh, ignore that. We can actually get into what we need to do in order to get this to work with code. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go to our base NPC, which I already have. Pull up my notes on this other screen here. So what we're going to do up at the top here where it says using an Unity Engine UI, make sure you have this. You should already have it there, but definitely make sure that that is there. Down here where we have all of these buttons and stuff like that. So right before option 1 text, what we're going to do is we are going to add a reference to those buttons. So tooltip, serializable, and then protected button, and then option button 1. And we're gonna not serializable, serialized field. There we go. We're gonna do the same for all the other buttons. So tooltip, option 2 button, serialize field, protected button, option button 2. And then we're going to do this here. Tooltip, option 3 button. Then protected button, option button 3. And for the base, I do believe that is all we need to do. Let me just double check my notes. Yep, that's all we need to do. So now we need to move over to branching dialog, or not branching dialog, NPC branching dialog. And there's a couple things that we need to do here. So at the very top, it should automatically add this, but I've had issues before, so we're going to add this ourselves. We're going to put in using Unity Engine.event systems, and that's all that we need. We don't need to do anything else here. We do need to bring in the start. So we're going to do protected, override, void, start. Our base start's going to be right there, and that's fine. But we need to add these things. So option button 1 dot on click dot add listener. And then we need to put this in here. And that's going to give you a little error because we haven't had this handle button click yet. But we're going to essentially just copy and paste. And I know I'm breaking my own rule. Again, I'm just trying to make this go a little faster. So what this does is it adds a listener to the button click. So whenever those buttons are clicked, it'll actually do something. So we want to add that reference in there. Then we need to go to show options. So right here where it says option 1 text, we need to just change that to option button 1. And we need to do the same for these two here. Just change it to option button 2. And option button 3. What we also need to do is add this little thing here, this little if statement, but if current node dot options dot counts is greater than 0, meaning there actually is some there, we're going to have the events system dot current event system dot set selected game object option button 1 dot game object. So what we're doing is we're automatically highlighting the first option on the list. That's what we're doing there. And then here we're just activating the buttons. Everything else is going to stay the same since the text is the children of the buttons. They'll activate whenever the buttons are activated. Okay. So here where it says wait for choice, it says handle player selection. We need to change that to handle button click. Again, you're going to get errors because we haven't done button click yet. So now that those are done, I'm just seeing if there's anything else that we really need to change, which there's not. So now we just need to add that button click. So I have that added right here above end interaction. We just do a private void handle button click. We need integer and we need index. And all we're doing in here is waiting for player choice equals false. And we are doing handle player selection and index. And that is all we need to do for that. Let me just double check my notes to make sure that is all we need to do. I'm pretty sure that is. Yep. So that is all that we need to do. So make sure we save all of that. Let us go back into Unity. So what we're going to do now is first text bubble here. We can shut that down for right now. We'll go to our test NPC. And now you should see these option buttons here. So all we got to do is just link these option buttons. Then we can close down branching dialog. And let me zoom in on the player here. For simplicity and making things quicker, I've moved the NPC right below the player here. So now that we have all of that stuff in place, we are going to, oh, there's one more thing that we need to do actually. Let's turn, actually I don't even need to turn it on. So option button 1, automatic, where it says navigation here, automatic usually works pretty well, but I want to make sure it works the way I want it to work. So we're going to go to navigation. We're going to change that to explicit. And then for on select up, we're actually going to put in button 3. And on select down, we'll put button 2 in. Then we'll go to button 2 and we'll do the same thing. Only on select up, it'll be button 1. On select down, it'll be button 3. And then for button 3, we're going to, again, do the same thing. Ignore my phone. But whenever we go up, it is button 2. Whenever we go down, it'll be button 1. That should have been the last thing, so now we can test it and see what I broke, if anything. So there's our NPC. Hello, and there's our options. And oh, I must not have changed the third button. Yeah, I never changed that third button highlight. So let's go to, I changed the one but not the other. So let's change 120, 173. There we go. Now let's test it again. There we go. So as you can see, the first option is already selected. We can use the down arrows. We can use the WASD if you have those set up. And I do have a joystick set up. I'm pushing up and down. Now you'll notice the player is moving. We haven't set up pause or anything yet. Once we set up pause, the player will not move. But nonetheless, you can make your selection. We'll say the 3 little dots. Don't want to talk, huh? That's fine. I'll talk for you. No. We'll just do it again. Hi. So it works. That is, for now, the end of branching dialogue. A little bit later in the series, we'll start adding things like a moral system or like a consequence system or something like that. But that's whenever we get a little bit more in depth. So for now, I'm going to end the video here. If you guys liked it and enjoyed it and you learned something, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Again, don't forget to subscribe, as I have videos like this coming out all the time and I don't want you to miss anything. And as always, thank you. Have a good one. And I'll see you on the next one.